Level 1. $0. There's a steel clamp in your jacket pocket. You built it from $5 of scrap. Last night, 2 a.m., a pipe burst in your building. The clamp stopped it in 10 seconds. That clamp becomes a company worth $100 billion. Tonight, it can't save your apartment. You're 24, the maintenance man of your building in Toledo, Ohio. The flood needed a name. Yours was cheapest. Fired by breakfast. The apartment came with the job. Eviction court. The landlord's lawyer decides your address. His name is Marcus. Lawyers sell time in 6-minute pieces, and you can't afford one, so he doesn't look at you. He slides a form, $200, out by Friday. You start reading it. Don't read it, 4C. Reading it doesn't change what it says. The judge asks one question. Do you have counsel? You don't. 90 seconds. This room does 26 evictions an hour. You sign. In 30 years, 400 lawyers start their mornings on your name. And Marcus sits across from you once more, in a much smaller room. Tonight, your sister Denise pays your dinner check at the diner where she works. $8.40. She keeps it. You'll get the tab when I'm old. $100 billion later. That check is still the one bill you can't pay. Why? Level 2. $1,000. In a supply house parking lot, a plumber is calling your clamp a toy. You split a garden hose with a pocket knife and open the water full blast. Then, you snap the clamp over the gush. 10 seconds. Dry. The plumber whistles, buys 10 at $8 each, and tells you not to raise the price like an idiot. You live in your van now. You park it behind the Blue Star Diner, where your sister Denise works nights. Denise never says the word homeless. She leaves foil bags on the hood marked mistakes. Meatloaf nobody ordered, fries off a suspiciously clean plate. You eat her mistakes and sell clamps, and the glove box fills. $1,000, rubber banded. The first 1,000 doesn't feel like money. It feels like a verdict got appealed. Then a guy at the swap meet leans on your table and ruins your week. You're selling these with no LLC? One lawsuit, and they take the van man. Gone. You don't know what an LLC is. You do know the van is your house, warehouse, and company. That night you can't sleep in it, so you find a lawyer with a door. Her name is Ellen, a strip mall lawyer wedged between a nail salon and a check cashing place. $100 a consultation. Ellen listens for 4 minutes. Then she refuses your money. Don't pay me to form a company. Pay rent. Come back when somebody wants to steal something from you. The first lawyer who ever talked to you instead of past you, you mention Marcus. Ellen snorts. He rents a conference room by the hour and calls it a firm. In the spiral notebook Denise gave you the night of the eviction, you write Ellen's name, and under it, someday buy her a real door. You've already done the math at the diner counter. The van sells $8 clamps. The company it becomes will be worth $100 billion, and its paperwork will weigh more than the van. One Tuesday, the supply house manager marches out to run you off the lot. You sell on my lot, I call the cops. You don't argue. You hand the manager a clamp and follow him inside to the slop sink in the back room. The sink has a split fitting he's been ignoring for a year. 10 seconds. Dry. The manager stares at that sink like it just apologized to him. 24 clamps a month. Cash. And you can park anywhere you want. At the Blue Star counter that night, Denise refills your coffee and makes you tell the sink part twice. Then she goes flat, the way she goes for all the true things. Nobody reads anything, baby. That's the whole trick of the world. You write it down while she watches. Next month, the manager wants it official. Official means paper. Paper means, sooner or later, lawyers. You open Notebook 2 and write the standing order on page 1, dated, in ink. Paper took your apartment. This time you plan to be holding some. Level 3. $10,000. There are 11 pages of contract on the hood of your van, and they're heavier than the van. A regional plumbing supply chain wants your clamp in 19 stores. Their buyer stands at the loading dock with a pen already out, and the pen is nicer than your shoes. You almost sign. Your hand is actually moving. Then your sister's rule grabs your wrist. People lie less to paper, so read the paper. Clause 8 has a sentence in it you have to read 3 times. You don't sign. You copy that sentence into the notebook, word for word. Then you drive the contract to Ellen's strip mall office, past the nail salon, through the acetone smell. Ellen reads Clause 8 once. She charges you for exactly one 6-minute piece of her time, $55, and it is the best money you will ever spend. The sentence hands them ownership of your design, plus, quote, all improvements, past and future, meaning every idea you ever have, forever, for nothing. Ellen draws one line through it in blue ink and initials the margin. The dangerous sentence is never in bold, she says. Bold is for things they want you to see. At the loading dock the next morning, you hand the buyer the crossed-out version and hold your breath. The buyer signs it without blinking. It was never a fight. It was a net, and nets only catch the people who don't read. 19 stores. $10,000 lands in an account that used to hold double digits. You stare at the balance at a red light, gripping the wheel until somebody honks. That one line of blue ink is the first mile of a $100 billion road. Nobody knows that yet, including you. You take Denise to dinner at a place with cloth napkins. She studies the menu like it's lying to her, orders the second cheapest thing, and lets you pay for exactly half. You'll get the rest of the tab when I'm old, Denise says, and puts her card down like a gavel. The $8.40 check still rides in her apron pocket, behind the order pad. You've seen the corner of it, soft and folded. Neither of you mentions it. Back at her office, Ellen files a provisional patent on the clamp. She calls it the cheap kind, but dated. The date is the whole point. Paper with your name and a number on it, staked into the ground before anyone bigger notices you. $60 in government fees, a date stamp on a piece of paper. You write the date in Notebook 3 and underline it twice. Here's what nobody tells you at $10,000. You are now worth stealing from. The chain's lawyers already knew it. That's why Clause 8 existed. Somewhere out there, bigger companies employ men whose whole job is reading the patent lists, looking for small names on good ideas. One of them is about to find yours. Level 4. $100,000. You feel bulletproof for exactly one paragraph. 60 stores now. A rented garage bay with your name on the lease. 2 hires bending steel at a workbench. 6 figures in the account. You buy a mattress that isn't in a van. You sleep like a rich man for 11 nights. On the 12th day, an envelope arrives at the garage that doesn't fold. The paper is that thick. Inside is a cease and desist letter from a national fixture company you've seen in every hardware store in Ohio. They copied your clamp, changed one screw, and filed papers saying the idea was theirs first. Now their letter orders you, the inventor, to stop making it. At this level, lawyers stop being people. They become envelopes. Here's the arithmetic they're counting on, and you should hate how well it works. Sending that letter cost them maybe $2,000. Answering it properly will cost you $40,000, minimum. Stapled to the threat is their mercy, a $40,000 goodwill buyout, plus a job offer in their fittings division. They don't just want the clamp, they want the hands. You drive it to Ellen's office before the coffee in your cup goes cold. On the way, you pass the courthouse bus bench, where Marcus's face used to smile at evictions. A mattress ad wears the bench now. You file that somewhere and keep driving. Ellen reads the letter twice at her strip mall desk, nail salon fumes coming through the wall. They're not suing you, she says. They're pricing you. Then she asks for the notebooks, all 3, and reads them page by page like scripture. She stops at the date underlined twice. Your provisional patent beats their filing by 7 months. Ellen looks up, and for the first time you see a lawyer smile with her teeth. They priced you. They priced you wrong. Fighting still costs what it costs. Over the next months, you feed 92 of your $100,000 into answering the letter and converting the patent into the real thing. Paper took your apartment at $0. At $100,000, you empty the account buying paper of your own. The weapon never changed. The side of it did. The war room is a diner counter. At 2 a.m. at the Blue Star, Denise refills your coffee while you draft lists of dates for Ellen between order tickets. When you go to pay, there's a 20 taped under the sugar caddy. Your sister Denise swears on her apron she's never seen it in her life. She watches you pack the papers up, and she goes flat. They're only mean to you when you're small enough to be free. Remember that when you're big. You're betting the van, baby, Denise says at the door. You are. You bet it anyway. Their lawyers have your answer by Friday. What comes back isn't a letter. Level 5. $1 million. A conference room on the 40th floor in Chicago. 8 of their lawyers on one side of the table, you and Ellen on the other. It took 18 months of lawsuit to get here, and you learned a new word on the way, discovery. Discovery means they get to read your life, your bank records, your emails, your worst month, typed up and passed around a table by strangers billing while they read. Of the 8 lawyers, only 1 talks. The other 7 bill. There's water on the table in glass bottles, and you're afraid to open yours because you don't know whose side the water is on. The talking lawyer is friendly for 2 hours. That's the technique. Friendly, trap. You claim you conceived this design when, exactly? He smiles. He has his company's filing date memorized, and he thinks you're about to guess. Ellen doesn't say a word. She slides notebook 1 across the table, open to the first page. Entry 1, a lawyer's sentence, written down word for word in eviction court, dated. 2 pages later, the clamp, sketched, dated, 7 months before their filing. The court reporter asks the talking lawyer to state for the record that he is examining the exhibit. He states it. He isn't smiling now. Under the table, your hands are shaking. The transcript doesn't show your hands shaking. That's the mercy of transcripts. They settle in the hallway, standing up. In 11 minutes. A license on your patent. Royalties on every unit their factories make. And 1 sentence you make Ellen write in, over her objection that it's petty. No letter of theirs may ever use the word goodwill again. It is petty. You feel terrific about it. The first royalty check clears the account into 7 figures. You sit in the van, holding the deposit slip, doing a different kind of math. The whole fight, added up in Notebook 5, cost about 4,000 6-minute pieces of lawyer time. At $0, you couldn't afford 1 piece. At this level, justice isn't found. It's bought by the piece, and you could finally afford enough pieces. You drive home to Toledo the same night, in the same van, deposit slip on the dash. $1 million riding shotgun in a vehicle worth $800. At the Blue Star counter, you tell Denise about the 8 lawyers. She stops wiping the counter, flat as a level. 8 of them to 1 of you. Baby, you're the only thing in that building that's real. You write it down. Denise pretends not to watch you write it down. This is the whole ceremony. And you'd both deny it under oath. While she's on shift, you have her rusted sedan towed to a shop and fixed. Brakes, timing, the door that only opens from outside. Denise calls it a home invasion with extra steps. I said when I'm old, your sister says through the diner phone. She's not old. There's time. That's the math you don't check. Level 6. $10 million. To fresh starts, says the managing partner, raising his glass, and it takes you a second to place the name on his card. It's the firm, the one that sent the letter that didn't fold, the one that priced you at $40,000 and lost. Tonight, in a downtown Toledo steakhouse, that same firm is buying you a $200 dinner and calling 4 years of your life the past. This is how lawyers treat you at $10 million. They court you, steak dinners, embossed folders, partners laughing at jokes you didn't finish. The license money built a real factory on the east side of Toledo. Your clamp is in every hardware aisle in the Midwest. Suddenly, every firm in 3 states wants to be your firm. You order the most expensive thing on the menu. You eat it slowly. You sign nothing. The lawyer you actually hire has 1 client and a strip mall door. You make Ellen general counsel, full-time, and she closes the office between the nail salon and the check cashing place. The nail salon takes her space within a week. You keep her old door sign and hang it in the factory office. It bothers you that it bothers you. Then the money starts billing your friendships. Ellen's rule is ironclad. Anybody who sees the factory floor signs a non-disclosure agreement first. A legal promise to keep your secrets. 2 pages. Standard. New hires sign. Suppliers sign. Then your oldest friend from the old building comes by to see the machines, reads page 1 at the door, and puts the pen down. I've known you since you fixed my radiator, he says. He doesn't sign it. He also stops coming around. Nobody sues anybody. That's not the same as nothing being lost. Denise won't come to the steak dinners. My section's got counters, baby. Instead, your sister walks a foil-wrapped plate into the factory one Friday. Denise sets it on a workbench between the presses and makes the night shift eat pie off diner saucers. About the friend who wouldn't sign, Denise goes flat. Paper keeps out the honest ones. The liars sign happy. You write that one down twice. At 2 a.m. in a Columbus hotel room, on a distributor trip, you can't sleep. and the TV is selling injuries. A man in a suit that fits wrong shouts at the camera in front of fire letters. Call Marcus. Don't sign anything. You sit up. It's him. The eviction lawyer who wouldn't look at you now begs strangers at 2 a.m. to call. You write the date in the notebook. You could not explain to anyone why. Back in Toledo, Ellen builds the wall. Every letter, every threat, every contract now hits her office before it ever reaches your hands. You will never open a thick envelope again. You try to remember the last time paper scared you, and you can't. Careful. The fear kept you reading. Level 7. $100 million. You're at your desk in the Toledo Tower office, reading a letter your own law firm wrote, and you can hear Marcus's voice in it. Same font as the one that came for you. Same paper that doesn't fold. It's a cease and desist, drafted in your company's name, aimed at a kid in Akron who invented a hose fitting in his garage. Same $40,000 arithmetic, pointed the other way. The company is an empire of fasteners and fittings now. 2 competitors bought. $30 million a year in legal spend. Law firm partners fly to Toledo, a city they couldn't find 5 years ago. They come to pitch a man they'd have hung up on at $0. They can smell where this is going. $100 billion, give or take, and every one of them wants to be holding the pen when it lands. The 6-minute pieces build toward you from both sides of every table now. Your lawyers, their lawyers. Either way, you're the table. You kill the Akron letter with 1 phone call. Then you make a second call, to the kid himself. You license his fitting for real money, a number his own lawyer tells him to grab. Ellen, your general counsel, watches you do it from the office doorway and says nothing, which is how Ellen applauds. Then comes the warehouse lease dispute. Small supplier, small money, the kind of case you'd never see if the name on opposing counsel's filing hadn't stopped Ellen cold. In a rented conference room across town, the other side's lawyer arrives alone, carrying his own boxes. Gray now, solo practice again. Marcus, your litigation team lays out the standard play, in plain words, like a lunch order. Bury him in motions, delay everything, depose everyone, make the little firm bleed fees until quitting is cheaper than winning, and you have the line ready. It has aged 25 years, and you still know the apartment number. Don't read it, 4C. Right there in your pocket, perfectly weighted. You say none of it. You settle the lease fare, in one meeting, 11 minutes. Marcus across the table the whole time. Here is the part nobody warns you about. Marcus doesn't remember you. Not the eviction, not the form, not 4C. Nothing flickers. You memorized a man who never once thought about you on his drive home. You waited 25 years for a fire. You felt due diligence. You take it to the one court that still has jurisdiction over you, the counter at the Blue Star Diner. Denise hears the whole thing, refills your coffee, and goes flat. You wanted him to remember. Baby, being forgotten by that man is the win. You write it in the notebook, and for the first time in 25 years of entries, you're smiling while you write. Then your sister coughs, twice, into a napkin, hard. Denise waves it off, the way she waves off everything. Level 8. $1 billion. 400 lawyers are proofreading your life. The company is going public, and the law requires a confession first, a document called the S1. Its chapter of risk factors lists every lawsuit, every debt, every mistake you ever made, typeset for strangers. Lawyers bill around the clock listing every way your company can die. Not one of them lists the real one. The cough has a name now. It's cancer, and it is not the beatable kind. 4th floor of a Toledo hospital, a room Denise has already made the nurses laugh in twice. At the elevator you're met by Maya, Denise's daughter, a line cook with her mother's flat delivery, holding a visiting schedule. Denise has banned hovering. Maya enforces it like a bailiff. You offer everything, because everything is what you have. Flights anywhere. The specialist in Houston. A wing with her name on it. Denise listens from the bed, hooked to the drip, and waits you all the way out. 400 lawyers, baby. File something against this. Nobody in the room laughs. She meant them not to. You are a man who solves things now. For 3 weeks you learn, one scan at a time, what the word inoperable does to a man with unlimited counsel. There is no court. There is no opposing party. There is nothing to serve papers on. You sit in the hospital parking garage and understand, finally, what money is, a language most of the world speaks, and this thing doesn't. IPO morning. You are supposed to be in New York, ringing the opening bell in front of cameras. You are in a vinyl chair on the 4th floor in Toledo, holding your sister's hand. The ticker crawls across a muted TV mounted too high on the wall. The stock opens up 40%. $1 billion, on paper, in a room that smells like antiseptic. Denise's eyes are closed, half a smile. Look at you, still can't pay an $840 check. It's the last full sentence she gives you. Denise dies on a Tuesday. Her apron comes home from the diner in a paper bag, and in the pocket, behind her order pad, you find it. Blue Star Diner, $8.40, 30 years old, soft as cloth at the folds. She kept it the whole time. The tab you were going to get when she was old. She never got old enough. The funeral is small, because she ordered it small, in writing, because she knew you. Ellen stands next to you in the church and doesn't say anything lawyerly, Maya reads. You are the richest man in the history of Ohio, and you file nothing, object to nothing, appeal nothing. Some verdicts don't have a court. For 3 weeks after, Notebook 40 stays shut in a drawer. The first gap in 30 years. There's nothing you want written down. Level 9. $100 billion. Your signature is a stamp in a locked drawer now. A machine signs 10,000 documents a year in your name. When you get deposed, it happens by video, with 11 lawyers on your side of the screen defending your calendar entries. That's how the law treats you at $100 billion. It never touches you at all. You haven't been afraid of a piece of paper in 20 years. Sometimes you check for the fear, the way you'd check a scar. A decade has passed. The clamp company is a materials giant with your fingerprints on half the pipes in America. And in Toledo, on a corner you chose personally, you open a storefront between a nail salon and a check cashing place. On purpose. One lawyer inside, salaried by you, free to anyone who walks in holding an eviction notice. Ellen, gray now, hires every lawyer who works there. Her old strip mall door sign hangs inside, painted on the glass. Read everything. Bring your notebook. Your 400 lawyers hate that it will never make a dime. That's how you know it's right. Then there's the check. Your PR people have asked for it twice. Frame it in the tower lobby, they say. $8.40 under glass, so the $100 billion looks humble. You know exactly how that would play. You say no both times. Grief is not a lobby exhibit. Instead, on a Tuesday, you walk into the Blue Star Diner. Maya runs it now. She bought it with what her mother Denise left her, plus a loan from you. Maya repays the loan monthly, because she is her mother's daughter down to the decimal. You sit in Denise's old section. You order what you ordered at 24. Maya brings the check face down, like a court filing. $8.40. 40 years of inflation. Waived. Her mother's joke, in Maya's handwriting. She said you'd try to overpay, Maya says, flat. She said, don't let you. You pay it in cash, exact. Then you take the original from your breast pocket, 40 years soft. You tuck it under the sugar caddy, where Denise used to tape the 20s she'd deny forever. It stays there. The tab is paid, in the only court that ever had jurisdiction. In Notebook 41, you write the last entry, $840, paid. Then you cross out paid. Some debts you keep on the books, because owing her is the last way to keep her. Outside, down the block, the storefront light is still on. Inside it, some kid with a dead pipe and a live eviction notice is learning something. Reading it does change what it says. When somebody reads it with you, you stand on the corner with everything. You bought lawyer time in 6-minute pieces once? $55? Hands shaking. Now you own the clock. The 6 minutes you'd actually trade for? Denise at the counter refilling your coffee? Nobody sells. The richest man alive. And the only bill you couldn't pay was $8.40.